Terraria.
You talk about Terraria.
Yeah, because it's a based video game.
Hey, Michael, what have you been up to?
So I played Terraria.
Whoa, crazy.
Yeah, I finished Calamity. I'm so cool. I finished it for the whateverth time.
That it?
Oh, I got through a dungeon, the third one that I was getting through in Tears of the Kingdom. Tears of the Kingdom's pretty cool. The Caldera boss theme is one of the greatest boss themes in all of Nintendo. You should listen to it. It's very good.
Shout out to the scariest enemy in the entire game being also the easiest boss fight in the entire game.
Fair.
Like, he's the scariest looking boss in the entire, game, next to, the final boss, and he's also the fucking easiest.
Yeah, and then the game also decided that bullet time is a mechanic that exists. Therefore, easy.
You're supposed to do it a different way. But...
Yeah.
But bullet time
the game just goes, nah, fuck you. You have bullet time because
the game wants you to do something, and you just say, no.
Yeah, that dungeon's pretty cool. Boss fight's fun, real fast but fun. At least it's better than fucking Windblade Ganon. Keck W.
Oh my god. There's nowhere you need to use bullet time.
I don't know, Windblade was just fucking easy and boring.
I don't remember very much, but all I remember is
that's the point. You don't remember the fight at all because it's boring as shit. The mechanic is that you shot at it with arrows and it died because it was the Rivali dungeon where you used arrows and things died. Also, it's still really funny that Rivali lost to that bitch at some point. El Bozo. At least the other Blights, I can kind of see it. Like Thunderblight, is a whore.
Yeah, that fight sucks.
It's a good ass fight, but God, is he a whore?
As does Fire. Those two kind of both suck.
Have I done anything else? I mean, I played Destiny, which again, as I do. Oh, I played a whole hour and a half of Tales of Arise. I watched an hour of cutscenes.
Yeah,
because it is a Tales of game.
Fair enough.
I think that's what I've done.
I got what I would like to refer to as some of the best news I've heard in years. SMRPG is coming back, yes. And I'm so fucking stoked with that fucking HD remake.
There was a Nintendo Direct.
I was watching it, and I was like, oh, this is neat. I guess they might bring it to the Switch. And then they changed, and I was like, oh, they're remastering it. They actually, the Mad Lads did it. They finally remade Geno into a game. Because they finally have the rights from Squaresoft.
Yeah, Queen was finally like, okay, I guess.
It's like, fine, you can use Geno, and they're no.
Everyone always says this, but it's not like Nintendo's had a bad relationship with Square. I just feel like they maybe didn't want to do it till now.
No,
it probably legitimately has been they just didn't feel like doing it because...
hear me out.
I'm pretty sure Super Mario RPG didn't... I don't know if it sold super fucking well.
It sold okay, but it was a 1996 video game, so...
Yeah.
I think the more important thing is that, Nintendo's very cutthroat when it comes to what they will and will not do with Mario. So, it's just, they already had an RPG series. So, in their minds, they probably never had to touch it. And then,
they had two RPG
They had two, and then they let both of them die.
And
they let both of them die in an abyss. But that's besides the point.
But SMRPG is a fantastic game. I recommend you guys pick it up and play it when it comes out. I think it was the inventor of the timed hit. So it's if you like Paper Mario, you're welcome.
You mentioning RPGs or Mario RPGs reminded me someone in another Discord was talking shit about Chapter 4 of Thousand Year Door, and that's heresy.
To be fair, that chapter always gets hate because it is by far one of the worst chapters when it comes to its backtracking. That chapter sucks when it comes to backtracking. Aesthetically, it's cool. I really like the characters in it, but I get why people don't like it.
But that was great.
I actually think 5's worse.
I started to finalize my team for NAIC. I hit streaks of I'll win 6 games in a row, and it feels really good, and I'll hit streaks where I lose 7 games in a row, and it feels like it's the worst team ever made.
Such as
I'm-
Pokemon.
But I'm using one of my favorite Pokemon is Uriel, and I'm using Funny Bird, who I hate. But that's okay. Because Pelipper,
Gen Power
while we do
Evolution.
hate him, he do set rain, and that's just what he does. Side note, been working on my Pokemon Home Dex, where I am trying to get all my Pokemon collected. I have found ways to acquire certain mythicals that are literally impossible to acquire currently. So the list of Pokemon that I'm missing that I cannot physically get right now is down to 2. Victini and Zeraora. Those are the only 2 Pokemon I do not have.
I was gonna say I was gonna
yeah,
laugh
like
at you.
mythicals.
I was gonna laugh at you if you didn't have a Manaphy because I have a legit Manaphy that I got
Yeah,
from the
everyone does.
Ranger event.
Everyone should from Pokemon Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl.
Yeah, see,
as well.
I didn't touch that game, so I literally have mine from
I
the
had-
Ranger event
I
on
had
the
mine
DS.
from back when. Yeah,
did
the
I
Ranger
did I
event
miss the
GameStop.
Zeraora event in Sword and Shield? I think we had one of those.
Zeraora was
my-
a Sword and Shield one-time release.
There was
Zarude
like
is
a
the hard.
shiny event for it or something.
Zarude is the hardest one because Zarude is a Pokemon that only came out back in 2021. The only release it's ever had has been through an event during when the movie was releasing, like
Mhm.
Jungle, whatever. Which is kind of bullshit.
He's a silly little monkey guy.
They'll release it
little
at some
monkey.
point. They tend to.
But outside of that, just Victini and Victini you can get through some other games, but I just don't have them. I think you can get him in like Arceus or something.
Yeah,
But
you
I do have every other like rare mythical and everything, and I just have to like transfer over some Pokemon from Scarlet Violet. So that's really exciting. I have been hard grinding Pokemon. Obviously, I finished most of the stuff to do that I want to do in everyone's favorite game, Breath of the Wild 2. Outside of that, I mean, been working, getting ready for NASC. I got vacation coming up in a week and a half here. That'll be nice. Yeah, just kind of vibing, get ready for some stuff coming for the next couple of weekends.
Mason, what have you been up to?
To be honest, not a whole lot. Basically just playing 14 and watching stuff for podcasts.
Ah, so you've been playing Animal Crossing.
Yes, so I've gotten really into the fact that Final Fantasy 14 just put Animal Crossing into its game. You have to be level 90 to do it. So I'm level 90, and I've also been I've been doing that. I've been doing like I've been finally going through the MSQ, the main scenario quests. And story is something. Guys, why do we want to make a deal with a literal demon? That's
Don't
not a
worry
good
about
idea.
it.
Based.
Can't
I
wait
don't
for them
feel-
to fucking restart the world again after Shattered.
I feel comfortable saying that
Walker.
one because it's such an odd, like, out of place thing, but also makes perfect sense in Final Fantasy.
Yeah, there's a
and it
lot of
does
those,
not-
like demons and stuff.
And it doesn't really like actually spoil anything, as far as I can see. Yeah, and then I've just been gearing 2 of my classes. That's been about it, honestly. That's all I've really been doing.
I have not done a
Sounds
lot.
good.
Because I have been preoccupied by a couple of things, including the fact that I got a $3,350 estimate to fix my car.
Yeah, I saw that.
Head gasket problem. And my engine is a V8 North Star. So the whole thing's gotta come out, and it takes a whole 24 hours worth of labor to do so.
Yankees.
Yeah. So we're unsure of where we lie in that regard. Some people have told me get a new car. Some people have told me don't get a new car right now. It's expensive to get a new car right now. You're probably better off just fixing it if you don't think there are going to be a lot of other really expensive fixes for the car. I don't know yet, so I'm just waiting on it and thinking. I've been watching content more than I've been watching media. Tangentially related to a thing I enjoy, because I don't necessarily follow the channel directly, but Michael knows that I got onto a kick of this back in like the last year at college, maybe a year and a half at college. and thus I follow very particular videos from their brand. If you didn't know, Smosh is now owned by Smosh again.
Mhm. That's big hype.
Ian and Anthony are back together and have bought it from Mythical, from Rhett and Link's company. And you know what? That's cool. Really nice to have creators own the thing that was theirs. Again.
It's also like, it's nice that they're there, but it's not like it was in bad hands.
No,
like
it was in
in
really good hands, and my understanding is that they still own a small share of it. So like, they're in a fine spot now. They're not changing any of their content on like their side channels, which I think is really smart of them. They'd be dumb to do that. They're just, going to have the two of them doing the script writing for the skits on the main channel, which I think is fine. It is really nice. I listened to parts of the interview that Anthony and Ian had on Anthony's channel. There's some interest. There's some really mature friendship conversation in that interview. And it is nice to see the two of them have a good time together on some of the content they've already released.
Anthony Padilla makes great content, by the way.
Yeah.
I'd recommend it.
Anthony Padilla is like, honestly, I was surprised when I found his content again because it's some of my favorite content.
No, yeah, it's wild.
Yeah. Outside of that, after watching shows for the day, I watched an episode of a show that aired this season that I was interested in potentially checking out. It was on one of my lists. Give me a second. I'm
John,
pulling
don't
something.
show them the screenshot. They don't need to see
What do you
this.
mean, Michael? What do you mean? Don't
God,
worry.
the
I'm
most
gonna,
cursed
I'm
fucking
gonna, I'm gonna send it
screenshot
in the group
ever.
chat too. Don't worry. So
God, it's so fucking bad.
So I checked out an episode of I was summoned to another world for a second time. And this is indeed what the main character looks like here. I'll have to blow it up on screen in case on screen they can't quite see it.
I was.
It looks so dumb.
So from where I'm sitting right now, you can't see that there's the outline of the other eye at first, and then I opened it up.
There it is.
Yeah, no, I first saw it, I was like, I don't know what I'm looking at here. And I clicked on it, I was like, oh.
I can't help but laugh every time I see it.
While
watching that show,
looks
it's
like
so
Yamada, kind of,
it's
because
so
he's
funny.
generic black-haired anime boy.
So that show is exactly what its title says it is from the first episode. It currently has a 5.96 on Mal, which is kind of crazy, because, hear me out, it doesn't look great. Like, visually, it looks kind of bad. But hear me out, when the whole premise of your show is, I was isekai'd to a fantasy world, I was isekai'd into a fantasy world, then isekai'd into a real world, then isekai'd back into the fantasy world, I think it looking like shit might be on purpose. I'm not saying it is. I have no way to prove that. However, he kind of just does.
Deep into the meta meme, like.
Dude, the OST feels like it's just ripping off like Zelda and Dragon Quest super hard. It has like a very Konosuba-esque character dynamic party. To like the old crew he used to run with, and I say that as in one of the characters is a massive punching bag for the main character and gets off on it. There is a scene where the scene that reveals to the one female character that he is the hero who left from who disappeared 5 years ago in the world setting, is that he dodges her strike and then slaps her ass. At which point she then crumples and go, "Do you want me to be your chair again?" And then he just sits on her. It is a very interesting scene that is not.
You know what? I love that for him.
And the craziest thing is, it seems like it's more a beneficial thing for her than it is for him.
You know what?
I said Mason a very dumb picture. It was in an FF14 server, or a serverman that has an FF14 section. So it's the goofy ass picture.
I just lost his fucking
He
shit.
really did. So some other things about this. His sword is absolutely as close to a Buster sword as you can get without it actually being a Bustard sword. He has a female childhood friend character from the world he was isekai'd into, the second isekai he had happen, who got isekai'd with him into the world again that he was previously in before. As did all the other students from his class. She looks like any typical rom-com childhood friend character. It is insane. At the end of the episode, she cuts his hair, which is really funny. And the fact that she cuts his hairs, which is clearly them going, yeah, we just didn't feel like not animating the eye, so we just put the hair over it so we could just cut the hair at the end and then it would be fine. He now just looks like a Kirito clone. It's really funny that it actually kind of strips away personality even more. It's kind of hilarious. I'm gonna probably give this a couple of other watches. I'm interested in what it's doing because the plot at the end of the first episode is literally him going, hi, I'm leaving all of the characters we just introduced behind to go deal with the problem myself. Which, like, interesting. Sure, I'm curious in how that's gonna work. But they do the bit where, the childhood best friend is like, close your eyes, as, like, he's about to leave. And he's like, why? And she's like, close your eyes. So he closes his eyes, and then instead of kissing him, she cuts his hair, and it's wonderful. She uses the 2 types of magic she's been training in for the day they've been there to do so, which is wind and fire. So she just cuts and sears his hair a bit. It seems fine. I wouldn't go anywhere beyond that. Only other thing I did this week was I played D&D yesterday.
Nice.
As in I played D&D. I didn't run a session of D&D. We are in a we got what our DM has told us is probably the last massive world building drop he's going to give us for this campaign, or that needs to be given about his world for the campaign, which was we had throughout our journey been learning that there was this period of time in the world's history that we are playing in, from about I think it was like 1200 years ago to 700 years ago, where there's just no records of any history whatsoever. No one knows anything about it. Things are only loosely mentioned in very obscure and hard to get texts. And even like elves who are alive and old enough to live to that time period do not remember, like, actually physically have blanks in their memories. Same with like our one friend Dragon, who we were trying to help solve that problem and only got like a tiny bit of it unlocked. We found out that's because the gods went, no, you do not get to know what happened during this time period, and just memory wiped everybody. They did that because at the time, the person who ruled over the continent was the big bad of the campaign, who is a god of like chaos, pandemonium, yada yada, conquest.
All that good stuff.
Yeah, all that good stuff. Who we have slowly. It's really funny because the whole premise is kind of the more people who know of him, the more people who potentially believe in him or who fear him will give him more power. And you have to look back on the campaign of us going, yeah, have you heard of this guy that no one seems to know about? We're really trying to get more information about him as we're constantly bringing up his name to people throughout the campaign. Mind you, he has a cult that's been spreading symbolism and other stuff around the entire continent as well, and they're also destroying monuments to the gods. But yeah, we basically got to the point where our DM went, yeah, the only way to defeat this big bad who is currently imprisoned would be to sever his 2 connections that keep him relevant to the world. And we're like, okay, cool, what's his 2 connections? And our DM goes, well, one's to the sun, and we went, oh, cool. Well, we could totally deal with that. We could totally just get rid of the sun, maybe. The funny thing is we might temporarily be able to do that because one of our party members has a magical has a relic from a god that lets him immediately make it nighttime and fuck with the phases of the moon. So we could technically temporarily sever, like, not have the sun matter right now. The planet has 2 moons and he's able to control both, so we could do some funky shit with that. The other thing we learned was that, Warforge, Wildfire Druid Warforge, who knows nothing about his past, is actually one of 4 legendary warriors who helped fight against this evil, and gave up his connection to a large dragon turtle that is now a sleeping landmass under the continent we walk on. To stop the big bad, but upon doing so, he transferred his connection to said dragon turtle to the big bad. So the other connection we have to sever is that one. Which the only way we know to do that would be to find a way to transfer the connection to something that would be able to withstand the power of connecting to an ancient dragon turtle, or kill the dragon turtle that is sleeping underneath 80% of the continent.
Me, I could do it. I could,
So
I
we're
could
in a
handle
really
that.
fun position right now. All of which to say we got to the end of this lore drop, and then bullied an NPC into revealing that he secretly carries with him the powers of a god. Because to have this conversation, the monk who was informing us of all this information they are supposed to safeguard went, okay, no one's allowed to listen to us, and created a bubble of ki, that bamfed away all of our party's items that had ties to other beings. So I lost my talisman as a warlock. The paladin didn't have, the cleric didn't have their holy symbol. All the magic god weapons were gone. And for some reason, out of all the characters who were present in the room, our one Arcanist friend wasn't there. To which, as soon as we got out of the bubble, we were told, do not talk about the bubble. Do not mention anything in it, or you might find your memories wiped from the conversation we had. It's already a risk that you might take just from leaving the conversation. At which point, me and the party sorcerer go, hey, we know this is weird. We know this might seem really abrupt, but you mentioned before that you knew somebody who went to the miracle of the god of magic. You've been lying to us, because you always fucking lie to us. He's a friend of ours. We know he lies to us. He hates monarch. He hates, like, politics and monarchs, so we trust him. And I basically went, yeah, you lied to us. The person was you. You're carrying the miracle fucking in you, aren't you? And he's like, yes, but it's more complicated. We're like, you do realize we needed to know this, because if you die, we are fucked. Because that is the plot of the campaign. Anyone who has any strong magical tie to a god at this point, if they die, we are fucked. Because the prison that is holding back this ultimate evil will open. So yeah, we've had a very fun time. Eventually I will have all those audio sessions for that campaign uploaded, and maybe even, streamlined a little bit, so that people can enjoy our nonsense. But yeah, that was a wonderful session. And with that, guys, we're about to talk about anime. We have 5 shows left. We are on episode 10s of our shows. Don't you dare spoil past anything. I don't want to know what happens in Mashle episode 11 that's not even out yet. If you tell me, you will be banned. I'm talking to you, Michael. Don't you dare say anything.
So what happens is that stuff's gonna happen.
Damn, now I know. We're
There's
gonna
this
have
dumb out of context thing I could say. Like, I don't know if it happened.
We're gonna have harsh
might be
language and
skipped over
spoilers. Before we move on to that quick, favorite show of the week. I'm gonna drop mine. I'm fine dropping mine right away. Yamada. I'll give it to Yamada this week. I think Yamada had the best
Fair.
episode this week.
That is absolutely fair. Yamada was fucking great
Yeah.
this week.
Michael?
I'm gonna give it to Insomniacs. Insomniacs, it was good.
I think this is the other choice in my opinion this week. I think it's either
Insomniacs music
or
was
Yamada.
so fucking good this week. It was.
I'm gonna give it to Skip and Low. No, I'm kidding.
Shut the
He says, I had
fuck
Skip and
up.
Low for it one this week.
Which is also great.
I
but,
said
like,
I said to them, John, that you were the first person to send me your power ranking, but I had not looked at it yet, and I was very happy that when I did look at it, Skip and Loafer somehow didn't manage to weave its way into that, because that wouldn't be the first time you've done
funny
it.
would it have been?
It would have been very
If it
funny
happened
again.
that you fucking the wrong thing.
Yeah, if I had a nickel for every time I'd done that, I only have 1 nickel, but it's kind
You'd
of
have
crazy I
2.
did that, huh?
You'd have 2 if you did it again this week.
Yeah, if I
Yeah,
did
if
it
you did
again,
it
I'm
again,
saying,
you'd
like,
have
if I had a
2.
nickel now. No, I'd put Insomniacs up there as well. Just the set piece, how they interacted with the characters, it was great.
Mason?
For me, it's between Deadmount Deathlight and Yamada. Just to be different, I'll say Deadmount Deathlight.
Deadmount was good.
Deadmount was really good this
We
week.
had some really good episodes this week.
Yeah, this is a really good week.
Again,
See-
this is much like has been happening for like a few weeks now. We just have really solid shows.
Yeah, I really like all of our shows. I do think that there were, in my opinion, I do think there really, in my mind, it really was 3 shows were of this quality and 2 shows were of slightly better quality. And to me, that was Insomniacs and Yamada had slightly better quality this week. Everything else felt like we were either transitioning into something big and needing to do some setup, or they were Mashle. We'll talk about it. Let's
I could have dropped Hell's Paradise down one, but whatever.
let me go and get the thingamabobber.
By
for
one
you
more, I mean I
guys.
could have dropped it 1. So I think it. Whatever, I don't know.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we have a power ranking.
Yo, me and John based as always.
Michael, I got you.
This happens. It's like the
This happened
second
like every
time
week.
we've had. One time it was a much longer list that we had exactly.
One time there was
that.
9 of them. We almost got all of it.
Oh, we're gonna get into all this. So let's get into all this. Oh, God, I forgot I used this as a screenshot. Mason, talk to us about Hell's Paradise.
Yeah, so this week we start off where or like right where we ended last week, where Gabimaru wakes up and he runs into Bowl Cut Boy and Gantetsusai. I did remember his name at least. I do not remember because they did not give Bowl Cut Boy's name.
His name is Fuchi.
Fuchi. God damn it, why'd you use that as the screenshot?
Cause that transition made me lose my fucking mind.
So, there's a bit of my dick's bigger than yours happening for a second.
There's a lot of that.
And finally, Fuchi goes, "Hey, you fucking idiots. We kind of need to stop fighting because we don't know what's happening here. Hey, Gabimaru, what the fuck happened to you?" And he explains it to them, and they go, "What?"
Yeah, these guys have been fucking off in the forest the whole time. Meanwhile...
They have not met a Tenzin yet, so they don't know what's happening. Also, May, in the time that they were asleep, just grew up a bit and can talk now a little bit.
It's just one of the mysteries of women.
Yeah, it's just the mysteries of
They just do that sometimes.
Yeah. So she says some weird kind of like confusing bullshit, but essentially with cutaways to other people, we learn that she's talking about
everybody else.
Yeah, we essentially learned that she's talking about the power that the Tenzin have is yin and yang. That's essentially the power.
They also call it Tao.
Yeah, it's Tao. And essentially how yin and yang works is that because we get this from Shion essentially, the way to get to this point is being on the exact line between being calm and being angry.
Mind strong, weak.
Yes. We also have some like discussion between Sagiri, Yuzuriha, and Senta and Hoko, just about like their thought, like what's happening on the island. It's been a couple of days since I watched this, so I'm trying to remember everything.
There's this really odd part of the conversation where they bring up that like the mesh of the religion here on the island is very, very close to a strange cultish practice that the monk priest. It's the monk priest who was brought here but got killed by or Koichi.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting that we're looping back to him on this. And they imply that there is maybe someone above or godlike beings who like orchestrated all of this.
Also, Nurugai keeps asking Shion to teach her. And he keeps saying no, and then proceeds to just tell her how to do everything anyways. Also, he has one of the sickest like beatbacks I've ever counters I've seen in a while, which is she runs up behind him to try and stab him, and he flicks his sword hilt to knock the sword out of her hands, and then pulls her neck to the side so it slides into the sheath. It's sick. And then we also find out how Shion's able to see, and it's that he can see the waves of people.
Which he can just tap in the tower already. It's just
he can just tap into it. And he also kills like a shit ton of monsters. And then we also get a point of the like secondary ranks essentially of the Tenzin, not the 7 main ones, but like the ones below them that are like their retainers.
The Dosu? Dosi? It's a D term.
Doshin?
Doshi. I think it's Doshi.
Yeah, the Doshi. They show up to Gabimaru's group, and they show up to Chome and Tomo's group. Because Chome just pulls, or not Chome. Is it Chome?
Chobe.
Or Chobe, sorry. Naruto and this show gets confused. Chobe climbs him and his brother out of the hole and goes, "We're gonna fucking kill all of them. We're doing that."
Eat some
and
human
Toma-
flesh.
Yeah. And Toma goes, "Hey, like, maybe we should, like, leave and regroup." And Chobe goes, "No, we're killing them." One of the retainers shows up to them and is like, "Hey, so, like, here's what's going on. Would you mind getting back in the hole?" To which Chobe goes, "Ha!" Rips his arm off. I believe that's basically all that happens.
And then Chobe gets fucking murked.
Oh yeah, Chobe also gets murked because he's
dead for the third time.
He's definitely dead. He wouldn't be
Definitely.
alive.
Yeah,
That
there's
would
no
be-
way that he can live through this one. Probably. Yeah, he gets like part of his throat ripped out. But like, considering that's already happened in this show once before, and that guy's still walking around and talking, I think Chobe's maybe fine.
They also explain that Tao has the ability to make you be able to withstand otherwise lethal hits, which explains why Gabimaru can do what he does, because we know he can enter that zone briefly. He's not very good at it. He's not very intact yet. We also know Sagiri can do it because that's exactly what she did in their fight with the giant. They use the exact same. They're using the exact same wave visuals for all of the Asayamon, to make it very apparent that that's what this is. Which I think is really neat. I'm sure he's fine because he very much. They kind of are describing him like they describe Yuji when it comes to using sorcery, which is that like. He has no very fine point of control. He just has a lot of it. And I'm sure he's just going to fucking rage mode pop off and kick the shit out of this Doshi next episode.
Yeah.
I like it when he looks at his brother and goes, "Hey, go kill those things." And his brother goes, "Yes." And eyes glaze and he just fucking pops off.
Yeah, it's great. It's like, "No, you got the big guy. I'll take care of the small ones."
He's like, "Yes, brother, please. I will go do so." Giant big swordsman whose name I don't feel like saying, not that I don't know it. This is true. I could literally read it off a screen, but I don't want to.
Gun Tetsusai?
Yeah, him.
I got you.
He's so cool. He's so much fun. I love the entire set of interactions we get with that group. I think they're really cool. I adore him going, "Okay, small child, on my shoulder. I'm not using this entire side of my body. You're gonna tell me how close I get to doing your Tao shit."
How good am I at game?
I like his thing of, "I'm going to become immortal," and Fushi goes, You're planning on drinking it alone?" He's like, "No, I'm not
ridiculous.
a fucking idiot. I just want to be a legend."
You know how horrible it would be to live forever? Gross. Disgusting. That sounds miserable.
I don't want that. I'm just based.
Yeah.
I'm just based as fuck.
We also get a really, really dope shot of Shion, where he's talking about revenge, and he opens his eyes, and it's just a pure white, and it's so cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
Feels very good. Yeah, I mean, like you guys are saying, everything, like, the action still looks really great. It's still interesting with the plot. Like, it feels like it's definitely one of those things where it's like, I feel like we're gonna approach ahead way too fast, because is this the one seasoner?
I'm
No.
sure it's gonna get a continuation. I'm sure it's gonna get like we're gonna get like a break, and then like in the fall
Feels
they're
like
gonna
we're
be
moving
like.
so fast with this right
There's
now.
no way. There's no way they
There's-
don't. They can't finish anything they're
So-
doing.
As far as I know, we're currently in like chapter like 30-ish.
And there's like 170 or something.
Yeah.
That's so fast still, though, is the downside. But I get it.
That's kind of
I
about
mean, it
how
feels
fast these shonens go.
I don't
I know,
feel any.
but, like, it
I don't
feels
feel
like a
any
lot's happening.
problems with the pacing personally. So I think it's.
I
Fine.
feel like I don't feel the problems with pacing, but I feel like in between like season 1 and 2, you might. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
not
maybe.
worrying about that now.
Obviously, yeah, I'm not too worried about it now, but it's just something that's like in the back of my mind, basically, to think about
Fair.
when it comes to these shows. Yeah, I do like Hell's Paradise. It's still really good. I still want to see how good this other guy is at fighting. It seems like it was our one armed guy that saw like the future, right? Or was it the small boy, the blondie?
I think it is. I think it is. All three of them have this precognition
Visualization
thing,
of the
but it
fight.
seems little Zenitsu motherfucker is the one that's really good at it.
Okay.
Like he's the one who steps in and goes, "Okay, you guys should stop."
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's him.
But
But
I think all three of them can kind of tell. Like the two of them can very clearly tell they're evenly matched at that point.
They like to run simulations in their brains.
They do the Sherlock, like the
do
Sherlock,
the math.
Robert Downey Sherlock movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mind
Like,
Temple. Yeah,
Man,
Enter the Mind Palace.
the more
Mind
we
Palace
learn
is what it
about Tao, the more my brain just goes, yeah, it's just hockey, dude. It's just
yeah
hockey.
it's just Itaki and Nen. And
I
like
wasn't gonna
one-
say it.
Like
You'll say
he's just really good at sensing where everybody is by hockey. It's so obvious.
They can see the future
Um,
briefly. It's hockey.
I am really concerned
John doesn't know
about.
about that one.
I am really concerned about. I'm ignoring it. I am really concerned about the fact that they have now explained Tao and expressed that someone could hang on to their lives from a fatal blow, and we have still not seen Aizen's corpse. Again, I have little reason to believe he should fucking be alive, but the show has introduced a way in which he could be, and now that we have not seen his
Did we
body
not
yet,
get a visual of him getting fucking eaten?
we did, but we did not have, but we don't have, we never
No.
saw an aftermath, is my
So
point.
I guess.
So no,
I guess we can follow the One Piece rules of if you don't see a body, we don't know if they're dead.
So what we saw was after he got his side ripped out of him, he was leaned up against a tree, heavily breathing. That was it.
And having a part of him being eaten by
Much.
the giant. So, like, who's to say?
Who's to say?
My brain, I'm just keeping in the back of my head where I'm like, you have set this up in a way where it could happen. I'm not saying it's gonna be good. I'm not saying it's gonna be worth it to do it. It's better if he's just fucking dead, but also he's a cool ass character design, and I feel like, just maybe, you never know.
There are a
No,
lot
I
of cool
feel
ass
like
character
you do,
designs that got murked off in about
True.
30 seconds.
Right?
But that's because they had other cool ass character designs planned.
Like
True.
titty sweat.
Yeah, sure. Hey guys, we gotta talk about the next show on our docket.
Fucking one is that?
Which of
I don't remember
course
the
Mashle?
is Mashle.
It is Mashle.
Mashle this week we cut over to Finn and Dot's fight against Love.
Dot fight.
At which point, Love goes, "Hey, you like me, right?" And Dot's like, "Well, I mean, I don't hate you." And she's like, "But you love me, right? Like, I'm just fucking adorable. All women are, but me especially." And Dot's like, "Well, hear me out. I have a girl in mind who I plan to marry. So, while you are a girl, and I am very fond of you, go away." And Love does not take that very well. She then traps him in a tornado. And she starts to get ready to beat up Finn. In the meantime, we see a man with strangely similar hair colors to Finn approaching the door, using actual magic to get shit done. Who we know from earlier in the show is the Divine Visionary. Because they show him... He's the most recently appointed Divine Visionary, I believe, because when they mention
He's the current one.
the current one, yeah.
He's the
Or
current.
whatever it is.
He is the most recently appointed one.
To my personal surprise, he's an Adler. I was not expecting him to be an Adler student.
Base.
Yeah, no, base.
No, of course he's in Gryffindor. What do you
Yeah.
mean?
He's base as fuck.
Meanwhile, as Love is about to murk Finn, Dot breaks out of the tornado because backstory. Dot has a hot ass sister. Sorry,
True.
I was
correct.
I
It's
was
just correct
I was directly attacked by that.
That was personally.
She we get a little bit of how Dot has to stand up for his friends, especially when he meets someone who truly is his friends, and he remembered how Mash stood up for him even when he was getting his shit kicked in and looked like a massive idiot. And how Mash got angry on his behalf, and thus it is revealed that Dot has a special cross on his forehead underneath his bandana that makes him go sicko mode.
He is
Actually,
the
a
baby
triple mark.
Jesus or
he
something.
has to be able to fight Double Liner somehow.
Yeah, he can't just like get a
Not
second line or something.
well.
He has
As
to
far as
have
I know,
the
that's
funding,
not
like-
how that works.
Yeah, they're like
As far
genetic
as
or
I
something.
know, it's genetic. That's what I know.
It's bullshit as far as we know.
Yeah, I guess every double line we've seen is people born with them.
Yeah. And
Maybe they're born with it, maybe it's Maybelline,
the
dude.
only triple we've seen is Puppet Boy. And even then, his doesn't look like it's a triple. His looks like it splinters into 3.
His looks like it's a fucking quadruple.
His is wild. However, Dot wins this fight by not wasting her to absolute ash, but going, now that you see I could do that, do you surrender? And she goes, yeah, no, that's fair. We also get an implication that, like, she might also have a really shitty family situation of her being like, yeah, I know I'm special and that people should love me because that's what my daddy told me to. My daddy told me
All women
everybody
are
should like me.
queens.
All
Holy
women
She
are
breathes.
queens.
She's a thought.
It's the only thing I could think of during this fight. And then, as she has surrendered, Smart Boy, Prodigy, comes back in. I don't remember his name. Green-haired wizard.
Genius.
Genius, of course.
His name is actually Genius.
Just Genius, yeah. Genius shows up and he's like, wow, you really let us down on this one, huh? You should have been able to handle this. I guess I'm gonna kick the shit out of people. And then his magic suddenly gets obliterated, but just, by a noble phantasm. Here he comes, it is Finn's...
By a noble
It just is Archer's noble, or Gilgamesh's noble phantasm. I had to be careful because
You're not wrong,
Gilgamesh is like
but
3
it's
different
so
types of servants.
It's not his noble phantasm. It's just his ability.
Okay, but his noble phantasm is also doing that more.
I could have sworn his noble phantasm is when he pulls out the single thing that just is stupid.
Maybe he might have multiple. Fate's
Maybe
dumb.
because it is kind of his whole gimmick is that he has the entire
Yeah,
fucking
So
whatever.
but
as far as I know, Gilgamesh is just I'm the archer. I shoot swords from portals at people. That's all I.
Yeah.
He's my favorite archer. 'Cause he's
He's
not
a-
an archer.
He's not an archer.
that's kind of the Archer theme in Fate. Is that
At
they
least
aren't
for
really an
Zero
Archer?
and Stay Night.
Yeah.
I don't know
Um,
shit about Apocryphus Archer.
What do you mean you're an archer? You just threw your sword across 5 buildings. How does that make you an archer? Okay, moving on. Yeah, so Finn's older brother shows up. Wow, surprise. It's his older brother. He kicks the shit out of Genius, and then we find out that he is looking for the subordinates of Zero. Or whatever Innocent Zero. And thus he walks up and finds Mash, and he goes... And he pulls out a spider that speaks in spider puns and is also a scouter. An accurate scouter, unlike the magic hat that got, or whatever the fuck it was that introduced him into the school. Why do you have a faulty version doing the basic introduction and not an actual proper calculating spider? Why? What's wrong with you? The spider then gets a reading on Mash as, or older Ames. What's his name? Rain. He's just like, okay, I'm just gonna slowly increment my abilities a little bit higher and see how far we could go before you die. And Mash just goes, I'm gonna make a chair. It's really funny. And the spider gets so broken it no longer is speaking in spider puns. At which point Rain realizes, oh wait, I was told not to fuck with you. You're apparently a good kid according to the principal. Sorry about that. Here's this cloth that'll heal all your wounds, and Mash goes, neat, and pockets it. He does not use it. I'm keeping that in my brain. I see that show. He didn't fucking use it. He just pocketed it. I wonder what that... Wee!
Could be anything.
And then Rain's just like, good luck. If this is really gonna be a showdown to determine who's gonna be the next Divine Visionary, because, like, he has all the fucking coins in the world, and you're fucking something, dude. And then he goes back on his business.
You're just based.
At which point, the episode ends with Mash approaching the room where we assume Lemon is, but also where we know that the leader of Magia Lupus is. And Mash goes, how do I open this door? And he goes, wait, it's a push. And then he thinks about it and he goes, bye, and he just fucking knocks it off his hinges.
But
I wasn't sure if we saw the door. I was like, I
Yes.
was gonna make a joke that Mash breaks a door next episode. I wasn't sure if we got. I didn't remember
I
if we
would-
got to him.
I would
breaking the
believe
door.
you if you told
we
me
did.
that, because he probably will break another door. He'll probably break
I
the other
love that-
half of that
That was
door.
gonna be my joke as a spoiler thing. Is he breaks a door next episode?
I love that the other guy is just like, can you ever not break a door?
And Mash
Like,
is like,
ever?
Mash was like, I was trying to knock, and you know he's fucking with him, because he did it because he just did it because he's fucking angry that he took his girl, who gave him a nice little plushie doll.
Mhm.
Mashl's fine. It's fine. Michael talked to me a little bit about some things he doesn't like in relation to Mashle. And you know what? His points are fair. I'll let him maybe give us a few of those. I like the episode. I think it's fine. I also personally would rather this go than anything else this week, is kind of where I lie, but we'll talk about our other shows first.
Yeah, my thing, that I talked to them about, is that I'm not a fan of characters getting power-ups or winning fights, because they pulled some bullshit plot armor out their ass. Such as Dot revealing that he is the baby Jesus. I mean, we've had the headband the whole time, so it's clear he's been hiding something. I'll give it that. But I'm just not a fan of characters not training at all for a power-up and then just going, yes, I now have superpowers.
Trust me, I had this the whole time.
Mason, the redhead character in D. Gray Man, he also wears a headband bandana.
Lobby?
Yeah,
Lobby?
right?
Yeah.
Does
Yeah, he does.
Does he also have a weird thing when the
I think
bandana
he-
come off?
I think
wasn't
he
gonna.
does.
My brain's like, I don't know if I'm making that up because I
I'm
didn't get far
pretty
enough to
sure.
know that, but I feel like he does. And
So-
ever since I've seen Dot, I've been like, he's so similar in like design to Lavi, not in personality really. They're kind
Yeah.
of different. Lavi's actually like one of the more sane characters in that show.
Lavi-
I'd fuck.
Lobby's great, honestly. So
Are you
one
looking
thing
it
I
up,
did-
Michael?
No, I was looking up Aizen because he almost has a bandana.
So-
It's an eye patch that goes all the way
Yes.
around, so it's a fucking bandana attached to an eye patch. I fucking
Yeah.
hate it.
It's redhead characters. So something I did
Does
like.
the fucking guy from Bleach also have a bandana?
Renji? Yeah.
Yeah, well, yes, he also wears.
Yeah, I don't think he's hiding anything under it, but fuck you, damn.
I don't
No,
think so.
he's not. He's not. So something I did like, because I watched this episode with my friend Cody, and something he brought up that I thought was really funny was, so we get Dot's whole backstory thing in this episode, and he's just like, why the fuck is our secondary character getting more development than Mash did? And I went, remember,
Smash.
he's the main character.
Yeah, Dot's the main.
Because-
Mash doesn't need backstory. Mash is just
So-
a guy.
Here's how I make this previous conversation worse. Not only is Lavi a redhead with a bandana, he also has an eye patch.
Yep. Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. And he does have something hidden under the eye patch, I'm pretty sure.
As he should, though.
But yeah, I mean, I liked this episode. I've just enjoyed Mashle because it's just like it's a fun, goofy time. But it's also like I think it's run its course. And like I think it's still a good show. I still think it is the worst show out of our 5 that are left. So
I just think Rain is the most based human being that has ever existed.
Oh, for sure.
Rain is
And
based.
essentially, my 4 and 5 was me determining who I thought was more based, Rain or the shark girl that I can't remember the name
Sayo.
of. Yeah, because Sayo and Rain are the most based human beings to ever be put into anime. And honestly, Sayo could have been higher, but I just think Rain's really cool. I'm probably voting both of them. Rain's really cool. I also like when Mash makes the game of the Throne of Swords or whatever. The Game of Thrones chair.
And he also bunts the fucking swords away.
Yeah. God, the bunting bit's so good.
It's so funny.
I mean, I think some of these bits hit a little better in the manga because just flipping a panel to see Mash standing, it's like he's flips the page in a bunting stance.
Yeah.
Okay, since I just to clarify, since I can't find anything immediately by searching Lavi with no bandana, I assume he actually does it. And since I specifically found a line of text on the wiki that says we do not know what's under his eye patch, I'm gonna assume he doesn't have
Yep.
any bullshit like that.
Fair.
But still, it's really funny. Michael, I appreciate now that in my brain you've set up this thing that is Dot is baby Jesus and Abyss Razor is Satan, is baby Satan. Two destined beings cursed. It's just Mash Burn Dread, and then on one shoulder it's Dot, and the other shoulder it's Abyss Razor. I could be your angle or your devil.
Or your devil.
Other thoughts on Mashle?
Mashle's good. I enjoy it. It makes me smile, but it is definitely like one of those shows like at the bottom. Like for me, I have a clear top 3, and it's hard to like shake that right now. And while Mashle's just always been consistently good, it's just like which one has been consistently better between that and Deadmount. It's just like a kind of a preference thing at this point for me.
See,
But
I
yeah,
am at a
I
point.
had a clear top 3, and then I was told to go fuck myself, essentially.
Correct.
Yeah.
But for me, and I'll
Brother?
talk about this. There will most likely get to be a point in this podcast where we could get to our top 3, and my personal opinion could be, yeah, no, I think the show that wound up in 3rd place is probably worse than Skip and Loafer. I kind of voted off Skip and Loafer on the chance that I think the other 2 shows I wanted around more than it could reach a level that they're going to be better than it.
That's fair.
So
I don't
I am
question it.
hoping
I just
that.
thought it's funny.
Yes.
You're like, I have my top 3 today. I was like, well, I tried.
You're like, I had a top 3.
Well, and honestly, for most of this podcast, my top 3 in no particular order was Hell's Paradise, Insomniacs, Skip and Loafer. It was just Skip and Loafer was kind of losing that edge for me, and 2 other shows were gaining. So I'm interested to see for me personally what show is going to wind up filling that 3rd slot, because I'm not sure yet. Speaking of, let's talk about our other show that is kind of in everybody's top 2 for sure, probably maybe. Let's talk about Insomniacs.
Before we do, John, I enjoy the Stardew Valley gameplay. It's been in the background the whole time.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
It's very good.
I'll be honest. I honestly did not know because it switched from one video and it was like a toy review channel, and now
Yeah.
it switched to whatever else is in the
I think it's
background.
Stardew. I don't actually know.
It is started now. Looks like they're going through days doing something. I don't know what it is, but they're on day 70. They still have copper items. But anyways, Insomniacs. So as Insomniacs this week, we are at the training camp arc, and of course, we have to go talk to the parents first. And so we have the teacher who comes and meets with the parents, and the 2 kids follow along. And so first they go to the Magi's house, and we meet the sister. To which she says, "By the way, I'm going with you." And then our main character comes in and says, "She's a chronic liar. Also, she is coming with us. Good luck." And so they get okay from the parents. He has an awkward introduction, and then the teacher gets exhausted and is like, "I give up. I quit." And they're like, "No, we have one more house, please, teacher." So we go back to our main boy's house. The dad has this very random solitude monologue of he's always been like this ever since he was young. Anyways, yeah, I'll sign off on the trip. Followed by decorating the shop before leaving, getting some advice from Shinomaru senpai, who's just like, "Got this, just get in there, Prodigy, you got this." They have a cute little shopping art together, and then we go on the trip, where the sister's basically testing him to a degree, and just chatting him up and talking about her sister having reminiscing on the past of how her sister got spoiled because she was always had this chronic condition, but always hated it because she didn't want to feel different. She just wanted to feel like somebody else, just like everybody else. And so they have this important heart to heart where she's like, "Hey, listen." She basically is like, "Hey, you're a good guy. You never treated her differently just because of her past, and I approve of that. I'm getting out of here. My boyfriend is meeting me halfway. Bye." And so now we have our two lovebirds just alone on a vacation together. With the pro tip of, "Hey, you want to know what to do? Ask her yourself." Anyways, bye. That's kind of the episode here. But yeah, we're on a vacation. We're gonna get some big heartfelt starlit romantic confession probably in the next 2 episodes. Probably in 2 episodes. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be a good time.
Oh, John, John, are you just not talking about it, or did you not get slapped in the face with a loaded gun like I did this episode?
I mean, listen, I don't know what you mean. It's fine. He's
Do you
fine.
actually not know what I mean, or do you know exactly what I'm talking about?
Are you talking about Ganta and his past? Or are you talking about her and her past?
No, I'm talking about the point where he's talking to her sister, and he goes, "Yeah, I know about her heart condition and the surgery she's had to get through it." And there is a moment where her sister pauses and gives him a look like, "Oh, you don't know," as if to imply these are still ongoing problems.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
I mean, we know she still only has half a heart. She didn't like get another half
Yeah!
installed.
But that look
Well,
implies
probably like a
that he
pacemaker.
doesn't know the whole story.
I mean,
He only
also,
knows
he
half
doesn't know
of it,
halfway
as one
she's
could
gone
say.
I hate you too.
We're the worst. Correct.
Yeah, there were a couple of moments in this episode. So I had an audible moment where I went, "Wow, fuck you," because there's a moment where her sister's just like, "Damn, if you were her boyfriend and you said that to me, I would be into you." I'm like, "What the fuck's wrong with you as a human being?" Her sister's
I feel
wild.
like that wasn't I'd be into. I thought that was like an I'd approve. If you were her boyfriend.
Wasn't how it came off to me.
But I don't know. I feel like she just gives those vibes, just like in how she acts as a character in general. But I don't know.
I do. Yeah, no, my personal thoughts are I am not the biggest fan of Marguerite's sister. Because even like the end of the episode, like I decided to treat her like a regular person because I realized that she doesn't need people to pity her or make things easier for her. It's on the other hand, you're like, yeah, but you also did just say you'd rather have been an only child. And you very much have resentment towards your younger sister, whose life is kind of shit for nothing she can control, and you've kind of justified your position by going, but I could still treat her like shit because that's how any sibling would treat any normal sibling.
She was a child too, and she also
Yes!
had that feeling of like, hey, I don't like that you're getting treated better than I am, which I get. Like, to a degree,
I'm just
you know,
saying
like,
that I think her sister is not the greatest person.
No, for sure.
And I think it still shines through even at the end of this episode.
But that's fine.
I personally don't really care about a lot of the Ganta stuff because I didn't feel like it extended anything we didn't already know. Like, we had this exact conversation, we just didn't get to visually see the things they're talking about.
We also just found out that as opposed to his mom dying, she just left.
She
Yeah!
just disappeared. She went
She
to go get
just-
the milk.
Yeah, she went to go get cigarettes and never came back.
I can't wait for them to tell us that she was in the Challenger disaster.
Maybe she went to go see the Titanic.
One of those is more fitting for the show.
Okay, having looked back in the VOD and like seeing like that scene that you're talking about, it's hard to say. I understand like it feels like a loaded gun.
It
But at the
really,
same
to
time,
me,
it also feels like a situation where literally she kind of goes back and says Marguerite never tells anybody about her heart problems, which tells me that like it could have just been like a look of recognition of like, oh, she actually told somebody about this, which is what I'm hoping. Obviously, I think yours is more likely because that's just how the show's gonna fucking do it.
I think,
Because but
I think you're a bit optimistic on that one.
but you know what? Hey, I like the
I am
optimism.
optimistic.
You know what also really got me this episode? When she sticks her I'm so bad that this was the thing that I thought. When she lifts her hand for the high five, the only thing my brain went to was, stick your hand up. Damn, your hand's big. Good to know. And she just leave. And we're being like, what big hands me. And she just leave. Because that is exactly her type of character. Is someone who would do that dumb bullshit.
Yeah.
Given everything else she does in this fucking episode. No, but I do really enjoy this episode. I think overall it's a really good episode. I liked Michael mentioned it while he was watching it. I do really enjoy Gonta just going out and being like, "Yo, that's a crab. Get over here." Snap, snap.
That's literally me. Hello, Mr. Crab. He's just like me for real.
You all
It's
might be
like
wondering,
Nico
Sean,
Geo.
why do you have that extra camera capture
Oh no.
dog?
So my thought originally was that you were putting it in on the
Stardew
on the
capture.
Stardew cam, and then I saw that it was dog, and I went, "Oh no, this makes more sense."
I can change it. Someone's asleep now. What do you want in the
No, it's
background?
fine.
I got this.
Honestly, this is the safest thing to keep in the background.
Hang on, I
Really,
got this.
I'm terrified of what this man's about to put on.
Just put on like a 5-hour.
Oh, perfect. You guys can't really see if I search like this.
Put on the 5-hour version of Orihime spinning the leak.
Put on Whoop Whoop.
That's a good one too.
Thank you, Michael. Other thoughts on Insomniacs, Michael, Mason?
I mean, I like it.
Insomniac's good.
The internet's dying. Hang on. I might end here.
Maybe just stop. Maybe just turn it off.
No.
I personally I enjoy Insomniacs. It's just low this week, just because like personally I thought the 3 shows above it did more this week. That's all. I really liked the other 3 shows.
Yeah,
It's
that's
not
fair.
like- and like, don't get me wrong, I still love Insomniacs. It's like exactly my shit. It's just like I don't know, like Hell's Paradise. I enjoyed a lot this week. Dead Mount did a lot this week. Yamada did a lot this week. So
I will say my one hesitation with the show is I'm not really sure what they want us to feel with Gonta. Like, I don't know what his background's supposed to be. Like, the background they've started giving us is supposed to do.
It's a like very like I'm on my own. I feel like at all times kind of approaches what it looks like. Like he doesn't
Yeah,
want
but-
to talk to anyone about it. He doesn't want to like. It's I think it's similar to hers in a sense that it's like he doesn't want anybody to pity him. I guess is how I see it.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, no, because I feel like for him it's more of he doesn't want to inconvenience anyone, or at least his father is the idea. That's the whole reason behind the shoe thing. Because like if he was worried about people pitying him or viewing him in some way, he just wouldn't have worn shoes to run, right? Because like that's a very
yeah.
like, of note. They also make a very important. Like, they also put it in frame enough to make me think it's important. His shoes are also still very worn now. Like, clearly probably at the end of their run.
yeah.
Let's progress, I guess. It's time to talk about this show's fucking wild, dude. Let's talk about Dead Mount Deathplay.
Previously on The Corpse God.
We pick up right where we left off with Blimps. We get a flashback into Polka's childhood. Well, the Corpse God's childhood. At which point we see he is with his teacher, presumably, and a brother, and they're like, yeah, this was the symbol that or dad made. And it's the actual like symbol version, not like the really cool gun, sword, crown, staff. His brother's like, yeah, look what we fucking did. We turned it into this. And Polka is like visibly upset by the fact that this exists and may or may not be tied to a dark organization. But then also they realize, oh shit, we were talking about reincarnation in front of a person who did not yet know this fact.
Yeah.
Yes, we gotta explain to Sayo what's going on. Sorry, just shark images being posted in our group chat. I wonder why.
No, it's it's Blahai images being
Yeah,
posted.
sorry.
Actually,
But I feel like before we dive into anything with Sayo, we get more shit about the Phantom Solitaire and how he got this symbol. We also do get a note that the symbol is slightly different because Tsubaki winds up what's his fucking name?
Yeah,
Was I right? Tsubaki winds up showing his boy the symbol. We said the top's a little different. The top's a little different on the one that they have. And then he gets called into the chief's office, but we'll come back to that later. Meanwhile, we see the Phantom Solitaire talking to the grocer, who's like, yeah, I'm charging you this much money because me and the boys, don't worry about who the boys are, but me and the boys, judge how much we charge people based on how much money they could be making. And we think if you stopped fucking around, you could make a lot of money in your lifetime. So, like, I'm charging you an amount that I think you would have to spend about half your life trying to make. And thus the Phantom Solitaire goes, neat, bye. I'm gonna go figure this out on my own. Fuck you, I'm not paying that much money. Also, how many blimps can you give me? We then see him lounging on the top of a blimp, where he gets immediately sniped by other assassins, and they go, oh shit, that was a fake. And then we cut to the Phantom Solitaire going, so as you see, I was just assassinated within seconds of my blimp escapade, which means that clearly someone has police intel. I leave that to you, viewers. What kind of conspiracies will we come up with? Also, please give me information about this symbol I am broadcasting. I know jack shit. I will pay you money. Definitely gonna pay you money. If you follow my track record, you definitely know whether I'll give you money or not.
I love him so much.
We also get
He's
this
such a
scene.
goat.
We also get the scene where when the symbol is revealed, we get this scene of presumably a interconnected web of fire-breathing bug. Like they talk about it like it's a bug. The implication came off to me as like these are all people who help the fire-breathing bug as like one collective entity, and like maybe are the ones who wind up walking around and showing up as like I am the fire-breathing bug, but actually I'm not. I'm just, I'm a vessel
I'm
for the bug.
asparagus.
Yes. They are
Pain.
legion.
They will know pain.
It's a really interesting scene that there are lots of text on the screen that I did not fully pause to read everything for, but most of it just seemed to be like, where'd they get this? Why did they know this? 5 years ago. Meanwhile, Polka and the crew explain to Sayo the beginnings of the Corpse God in a true old-style anime flashback setup. It's so good, dude. I adore this. It really makes you go, yeah, you probably could have done this show in this art style. I know why you didn't, because you're fucking insane. At which point Sayo's like, cool, got it. I'm gonna go take this in with a shower, and you're just gonna, answer some questions later. And then she grabs the shark doll that is Polka and brings it into the bathroom with her, to which my brain immediately went, oh no. And then Polka realizes that Misaki's not there. My brain goes, oh, double no. And then we cut to the shower, where we get the start of one of my favorite bits of the episode, which is Shark Polka going, see no evil, hear no evil, say no evil, speak no evil. It's very good. I adore that. I caught on to it when we got the second one. I'm like, okay, so we're gonna get the third one soon. We get a scene where Misaki corners Sayo in the shower, and it's like, hey, you just found out that Polka was killed? Someone was hired to kill him? Have you thought about who that might be? Pulls out crowbar in the shower. Like, just given any thought to it? And Sayo does, like, a complete, like wall slam flip switch with her, where she pins her against the wall and is like, I bet you Polka forgave you. You want someone to chastise you. You want to feel like, you want someone to actually, like, look at you and tell you did something wrong. I'm not going to do that. And you know why? Because you talked about sharks with me, and that means you can't be a bad person. I adore Sayo so much.
Sayo's great.
And then she's like, also, secondly, like, you saved my siblings. You saved my siblings. And, like, that's nice and all. But, like, also sharks. And then they explain a little bit more about Polka being inside the shark, and she gets upset, not that Polka was in the bathroom with her as a shark, but instead that she is not in the body of a shark, so she's like, hey, Corpse God, you should just put Polka in my body and put me in the shark. Can we, like...
Make me the shark.
Can we do that? And they kind of ignore her. And then, I need his name. And then Takumi's like, okay, Polka, do you have a way to, like, gather information? Do you have, like, an identify spell? And right. Polka's like, no. Or Corpse God is like, no. Isn't that what you do? And we get this bit where Takumi's like, I I'm a wizard. I'm a divination wizard. I am truly impeccable. My work is incredible. And we let him ride that high for a little bit. We then talk about the fact that Polka can manipulate people's memories by having a spirit go inside of them and then tampering with the brain, and that usually in people back in his world it would just erase the memories, but he doesn't want to do it to people in this world because he doesn't know what that might fucking do to people. We then also find out that Polka has spirits, ghosts that are still that still have pacts with him from his previous life, and they seem to all be, the kids he looked after when he was corpse god in the field, and his brother, and other important people to him who are all silhouetted. And Sayo's like, hey, you should shut the fuck up. If they made a pact with you, and they didn't break it when you left your previous world, seems to me like they're on board, and if you have any reason to be sorry or need to atone for anything, they'll, make you do that when you summon them. So, I don't know, maybe grow the fuck up. It's kind of based.
Time to nut up.
Yeah.
Bitch.
Then we cut back to Tsubaki, meeting with the head of the head of the police, the head of the police, and we get this really intense stare down conversation about his old buddy from 5 years ago who disappeared, and about whether he's just gonna play by the rules of the police or not. This conversation's sick, but it also gets very close to hitting the level of, can you guys just fucking talk like normal people? Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah.
And then we find out that the Phantom Solitaire has another very skilled friend who's just in a cafe typing on a typewriter, or accessing the internet through a typewriter, who's like, hey, by the way, I tracked down the people who were looking at that symbol, who went into the police database, and one of them is in the location. And Phantom Solitaire goes, the fortune teller. And thus we are on a crash course for the best interaction fucking possible next episode.
I can't wait.
I can't wait to see what the Phantom Solitaire's fortune holds.
It's such an interesting, bringing these two characters together, and it's just like, I'll go there too. You know what?
Yeah,
Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? I don't know. We're gonna find out.
I like the show. I like the mystery it has. I like the way I'm very happy they are again not just flat dropping the other world. It seems pretty tied in with what we're doing. I like that there are still connecting points there. I really enjoy the show's characters. His characters are wonderful. I absolutely get maybe not being as high on this. We do have a full-on shower scene this episode, but I think it does the censoring for it really well, where your attention's really more on the conversation, than it is on, what's actually on your screen for the most part. There is a kind of, upper thigh hip shot that maybe sits a little too long when they get out of the shower. That is a little weird, but outside of that, I think the scene's, actually pretty well done and not very obtrusive. It is kind of one of those things where it's like, why would you have done this? Well, to show that they're both as vulnerable as they can possibly be. And in that scene in particular, does a lot for Misaki's character. And again, I really adore the focus they have on her eyes to just, go back and forth between showing, how dead inside she's feeling to how not she is.
For someone who's literally dead, she has a lot of feelings right now.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't. Yeah, most of the shower scene was fine. I thought it was a little weird when Sayo leans in for a kiss. That was a little weird.
Gay, lesbian, gay, lesbian, gay.
They are just gay.
The shower scene definitely was a little bit off, but it wasn't the end of the world.
It wasn't bad. It didn't didn't make me go gra every time the one bitch is on screen in Soul Eater and 50% of food just
Blair.
Yeah. Another thing is, after the shower scene, Misaki is just attached to Sayo the entire time, and I find it very funny.
You're my friend now. We're having soft tacos later as we talk about sharks.
We're having soft tacos later.
Stop. They're having soft tacos later.
God Damn it. I fucking hate you.
No, those
We're
are
the
my
worst.
Gay, gay,
All of
lesbian,
us
gay.
are the worst.
Those aren't soft tacos. Those are
Yeah, no, you can stop. I got the joke off. It needs
illegal.
to go no further.
I like the stream within a stream within a stream infinitely.
It's very good. Mason talked about to us that this episode, because he mentioned it to me, I became very aware of the symbol in the water in the OP. Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah.
I do
It's
think there is
there.
an opening. I do think there is a change to the opening, which is I think the blimps are now in it. I don't think the blimps were in it before.
They were not in it before, but I went back and looked at episode 2 as well, just to make sure because I was like,
Yeah.
I want to check on this. It's in there at episode 2 as well.
Another thing I really like, and I don't know when this kicks in the opening, but there is a shot that transitions from the Office set of characters to Clarissa's bar, and it transitions via the pen, and Clarissa like kind of covering the camera, which I think is really subtle work in hinting at the character dynamics of this. This opening gets better and better the longer this show goes on, and I adore it.
Yeah.
Thank
It's
you,
always
John.
good when shows do that. Shows.
I love listening to colors. Shupa.
Natasha Yanders. I come
Natasha
to you.
Yanders.
I come to you as an anime fan.
I come before you as an anime fan, bewildered my form. Jipoon, whoa.
I'm low and I can sing my anime openings.
No one will hear me sing my anime songs.
We get those two assassins briefly this episode who just wear masks and are neat.
Yeah, they just kind of show up and then they're just not seen again.
Did I
Well-
kill him? No. Fuck.
Why
I
does
didn't
this
kill him.
Why does this
Damn
keep
it.
happening to me?
Yeah, I like Dead Mount.
I
Yeah,
think the show's really
It's
good.
not bad. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just not my favorite show on the podcast.
Yeah, it certainly is the problem where, yeah, it's a good show, but not my
It do
favorite.
good things, but I do think it time that it on chop block as well with some other shows this week, but not this show.
We now get to our last show. Michael raised a very good point, which is there are lots of really good Akane faces to use for this screenshot of this episode,
So many
but
good
I
Akane
fucking
faces.
adore this transition, as every other transition in this fucking show. Hey John, talk about it. The
Hey.
I
show.
need to get the one screenshot.
Hey, welcome back to Horimi. I mean, Yamada-Kun. The color
And the seven witches, yeah, that one.
But yeah. So in this episode of Yamada, we have Akane who was like collapsing at the bike rack, and so Yamada takes her back to the room and like tries to give her water. He's like, "You have to drink water." Just kidding. Okay, no more water. And realizes,
Let's just
okay,
take
this is actually really bad.
pillow.
Maybe we take her to the ER just to make sure she's okay. And so he gets her in like a little thing, takes her to the ER. Tries to make sure she's okay. Coworkers are worried about him or his classmates are worried because he didn't show up to cram school. He always comes to cram school. That's weird. What if he's related to that girl that he's texting? What if he's seeing a girl? Because I need to be depressed too. And so we actually open up on the backstory between those two, where his classmate Tsubaki, I think her name is.
Something like that.
She was like the class
It is Tsubaki.
leader, and so he's working with him, and he has no friends because he's very crude and stuff. And she's like, I never want to get involved with a guy like that. He's a little bit too blind to love and stuff, and it's very unfortunate. And so they get to talking about stuff and his past and how like, he made this girl cry and it really bugged him. And so like it kind of sits on that and it's like, hey, yeah, she cried and it was awful and I felt bad, so I just don't understand women and I accept that. Then it cuts back to him trying to take care of Akane, takes her to the ER. She gets probably some antibiotics and maybe some fluids. It's probably just dehydrated is what I'm guessing, because they shouldn't just send her home like that if she's actually that sick. But hey, that's okay. Mint condition, nice. And so she kind of wakes up in her bed in like a cold sweat and goes, "Oh, what? Yamada's here. Wait, it wasn't a dream. Wait, why are you here?" And then like has a splitting headache because she's like being way too overactive because she's still sick. which is the theme that she has here. So she lays back in bed and they talk for a bit. And they have these interesting moments where it's like, clearly still like distraught and exhausted and thinking too much. Akane is just like all over the place. They're talking about that book on her shelf about love and stuff. And Yamada just goes, "Well, you're not the good guy. You think I am, because I'm actually an asshole. Because I made that one girl cry that one time." And then she's like, "Well, I mean, I think it's important to remember people. You want people to remember you as like, as someone who's broken up with. I want them to remember like, I shouldn't have let that person go. I'm a good person." And then he has this memory of like she did turn back and smile afterwards, even though he rejected her. And so Akane's still confused about her emotions and stuff, sees him like an angel. Gets a nice big old Charlie horse, which he stretches out, and they have this like interesting moment where it's like, this guy's on my bed, and I'm not just worried about it. We're just kind of having this funny moment together. And in the morning, he leaves to go to class, and Akane grabs him and goes, "Wait, why did I do that? Just kidding. Please leave. Bye." And this is a really good episode. It's hard to explain how like actually good this episode was without just watching it, because the visuals make a lot of the storytelling hit very different, and how they like they put layers of like different scenes basically on top of each other, and fade in and out of them. Especially when they use like those colors faded onto like a panel or like faded onto like a like outline. It's super good. Super good. It's super really it makes it hit different. Is the best way to put it. But yeah, no, I thought this episode was really good. We're definitely moving more towards the love interest arc part of it, but I think that's honestly okay because it's taken time to close like that awkward gap that we're talking about basically.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? With no distractions whatsoever.
God damn it, why'd you draw attention to it? It's funnier if you don't draw attention to it.
Did you not know that was why I made the Jabu joke?
DM in the group chat.
I didn't notice
that was why I made the Jabu the colors joke.
Yeah, I saw him put it on, and my brain didn't like click anything. Click about it. Just like that's stepping in the background.
That is so many levels of the Jabu and Woe joke that I didn't realize that's what you were doing. That's so much funnier now. Holy shit.
Look, I'm on it tonight. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in this episode of Yamada-Kun I really like. I think the oddest thing about this for me is that I have seen people grow attached to other people while sick. And so this is a very odd thing to see done in an anime, as I've also seen it happen in real life, arguably. So that's interesting. I like the expansion onto Yamada's past with this girl, from his childhood, because I think it's a lot more complex and has a lot of different outcomes than I expected it to. I like that it's not just him being super, like, inept and not exactly understanding social cues. It's also him being like, look, I did this for a reason. Yeah, we're friends, but like, what? I don't know what you're asking of me. And she's like, oh shit, okay, I made an error, cry. In the same way, I also 100% understand where Tsubaki is coming from, because I have very much been somewhere with someone for a prolonged period of time, and by the end of it gone, oh shit, maybe I do. Uh-oh. Not good. Especially in high school. So you know what? Yeah, I get that. And her concern is very, very valid for her. I don't know what she does. How do you approach a guy who, as far as you know, does not have any interest or understanding of how to engage in romance, yet you also are watching him accidentally engage in romance? Whoops.
Yeah. But yet you also accidentally fell in love with, even though you told yourself you should not get involved with that guy.
Yes.
No, I don't think it's a tough case for our Tsubaki here. kind of got inted. But that's okay, because Akane is the best girl this season, I think.
I don't know, Sayo's pretty good.
Sayo's pretty damn good.
Oh yeah, no, the show's just really, really well put together.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
We again get one of those really nice transitions with it, which is she drops her bag down, and then it cuts to, oh my god, to Yamada dropping her bag to Akane's bag down in the room, or it cuts to him sitting down next to her bed, one of those two, and the cut's so good, and then it cuts back again, and just the way they do things in this show are incredible.
I really like the show. I've just been very hooked on I like how they've unfolded the romance in it. I think the production of it is fucking incredible. Granted, it's a Madhouse show, so we knew that was going to happen, but I don't know. I really like this show a lot.
We now have dog tail camera. I do indeed have the results, however. What the fuck is going on in that chat? Results! No slays on Hell's Paradise, Insomniacs, and Yamada-Kun. 2 slays on Deadmount, and 3 on Mashle, because I am fine choosing which of my shows go. Was where I lied.
Understandable.
I am more interested to see the next episode of Dead Mount than I am Mashle. Not that I'm still gonna watch Mashle. I'm enjoying it. Yeet.
Maybe I should just start picking all my shows as my last, in the last round of the draft. Like, let you guys pick both of your first 2 first, and then I just get 3 picks.
Ooh, I like that
Because
idea.
it seems like I do so much.
No,
better
I
when
like
do
that idea. That means that I don't have to worry about him accidentally taking one of my things. I like that idea.
Because all my best shows happen to be my last picks usually.
Yeah.
EB and EB's to sleepy. That's all I'm saying.
We know where the missile is, by where it is.
The missile is tired.
Um,
It is EP.
Shout out to our chatter who typed a bunch of H's and vowels which came after A. And vowels after the H. Very cool.
It did happen.
Understandable.
Very
Yes.
cool. I'm
It
not
did
banning them until there was more spam and or something
And
worse
more
than
vowels.
that. Yeah.
Let's put some consonants to those vowels.
It's fine, you know? It's not too bad. I was also very tempted to make a wrestling joke after the 3-line H's, but we fine. Motorhead starts playing, spits water. Yeah, so next week, we decide top 3.
Yeah.
I wonder
gonna be
what
an
it
all-out
would be
brawl.
like. We'll see. And you know what? It's gonna be an odd thing of. I know right now we're two of the people on this podcast stand for sure. The question is where will Mason and I stand next week, especially considering we like both Deadmount and Yamada.
Yeah.
This might be a crazy wheel, folks. But if we just put 2 slays on everything and say fuck it, let's find out. We can make Mason really mad by not having Hell's Paradise.
I have a
top
solid
3.
2 show. I have another show in top 3 again this season. I'm happy.
Yeah, I really
Take the small victories.
Yeah, I can't wait to not have a show in top 3. After 2 of them getting to top 5. That's gonna be real cool. I'm gonna feel real good about it.
I've had that happen before. It's fine.
Yeah, imagine being me though. You can't.
Yeah, but at least you
Couldn't
can't
be
lose
me.
to skateboarding.
Hey, I want you to know that gay, yowie gay. So guys, we will see you next week when we decide top 3. And then we'll probably only have a 1-week period in between.
Yeah, most likely.
I'm trying to think, because
Everything should be out.
we're gonna be watching the 11th episode
Shit's
of
up at North
things.
after that week, so we really should make it only a 1-week thing.
Because I'm thinking next week we watch episode 11, which means 12 will be out for Insomniacs, which means 13 will be out the next week. So we should be fine. I don't think there's anything that's gonna be an extra week. Because Yamada's already at 11. or will be at 12 by the time we watch 11, so we're definitely good there. Yeah, I think we're good. And if we didn't vote off Mashle, we might not. But we did, so.
Oh, we did.
Haha.
Ooh.
Have a great night, guys. We will.
Yeah.
Talk to you later.